Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation and for the opportunity to address you today. As you may know, in my role as the European Data Protection Supervisor, I supervise the European Union institutions when it comes to the processing of the personal data. And among others, I advise the EU legislator on the impact of the laws on the fundamental rights of personal data protection and privacy. I also cooperate with national authorities to ensure the consistent enforcement of the data protection in the EU. But my cooperation extends further to the stakeholders in data protection who share the same or corresponding aspirations. It is my deep convictions that the collaboration with the civic society ensures diverse perspectives and citizens' participation. It fosters public trust and enhances the development of effective and inclusive policies safeguarding individual rights in digital landscape. In other words, civic society is crucial for the successful democratic data protection for the EU citizens. It is important to recognize that at the heart of any thriving democracy lies active engagement and vigilance of its citizens. Civic society acts as the committed guardian of democratic principles such as human rights, rule of law, transparency, accountability. Whether active on the local, national, or regional level, they play a crucial role in safeguarding human rights. In the context of data protection, the role of the civic society becomes even more pronounced as it amplifies advocacy and due to its pivotal role in advocating for the privacy rights and bringing diverse perspectives. Their role in democracy is intrinsically tied to its role in safeguarding privacy, symbolizing the fundamental connection between protecting individual privacy and upholding democratic principles. I would therefore like to take this opportunity to congratulate Homo Digitalis and EDRi for their exceptional work in data protection and privacy. You are both celebrating anniversary this year, 5th anniversary of Homo Digitalis and 20th anniversary of EDRi. You are both an example of successful, impactful activism, taking proactive role in the digital regulatory landscape, leading the digital rights debates, and recently also on the topics like artificial intelligence, CSAM, Digital Services Act, or Digital Market Act. Why does it matter for EDPS? Well, data protection authorities and civic society are often natural allies. When it comes to putting the data protection principles in practice and empowering individuals to assert their rights and holding the data controllers accountable for their actions. As we navigate the landscape of data protection, it becomes clear that a collaborative approach is essential to uphold privacy principles and individual rights. In the context of the European Union, this cooperation is not merely a strategic choice, but a fundamental necessity for the effective implementation and enforcement of the data protection regulation. For instance, the enforcement has been crucially impacted by the NGOs, and Max Schrems' example is the best case, which shows that not only in the terms of determining the law, but also enforcing the law, civic society has a role to play. The role particularly important in the data protection law context built on the individual-based enforcement system. At the European Data Protection Supervisors, we have consistently engaged in the civil society to foster data protection dialogue. We co-organize Civic Society Summit together with EDRi, an annual meeting to discuss the state of data protection and privacy in the EU. Moreover, we maintain regular exchanges in the various fora. We listen carefully and we value the contribution, especially when we draft legal and policy advice for the EU lawmakers, or when we supervise the EU institutions, agencies, and bodies. Let us not forget that legislative proposals are often influenced and inspired by the views of the civil society, while might often be disappointed by the directions of the lawmakers. Let's not forget how often we manage together to avoid dangerous proposals and mitigate worrying solutions. We go hand in hand, but not always. We should not be seen as the alliance, because as the data protection authority, we need also to be challenged. It is healthy for both sides. So please continue challenging us. On the last note, I would like to share that we in the EDPS are aware of the struggles and difficulties that the NGO community sometimes faces, especially when it's the state actors that are causing it. I applaud my commitment to all NGOs and their members, and I want to voice EDPS commitment in supporting civil society. The deterioration of the democracy and the rule of law starts from diminishing the freedom of speech and the freedom of civil society to openly question the decisions of the governments. It's therefore particularly important for the EU to protect civil society when attempts to limit their position are made. With this, let me thank you again and wish you the fruitful discussion among so many of you who have been dedicating their lives to uncovering, understanding, and explaining how fast the digital world is moving and how can we protect our rights. I wish you all a very enriching day.